This is the story of how one little quilt changed everything for me with the Ghost Squad. Hi, I'm Lydia, and thank you so much for watching this video. God has been working mightily in my life, and I have Him to thank for that. For me, I haven't known exactly where He was leading me to, but I want to tell you the story of what happened to me. So during Easter 2021, I held a Ghost Squad Caravan event, and it was a small event. It was spur of the moment, and we decided to do a little event and meet up with some women who were traveling in the area. And one of the girls that is a part of the caravan, she is a quilt maker, and she's retired and she enjoys making quilts. So she made a quilt for me. She had given me something else quilted that I still have to this day in my house, but this particular day was an Easter event, and she made this most beautiful quilt for me, and she gave it to me on the very last day, just as she was leaving and I was leaving. And it was beautiful, and I'll show you a picture here in this video of the quilt. And the day before, we had been eating at the campground. God had put in my heart that there were women that were living in their cars in this campground that we were at, this free campground. So we had brought her a plate of food and another woman a plate of food. So that last day, after she gave me the quilt, I took the quilt and I was going to put it in my car, and then I went in the camper, and then, you know, the Spirit spoke to me to give it to the woman that was outside, because we were leaving because the weather was so cold, and I didn't want to give it to her, and I just did everything that I could, but my feeling was really strong. So what happened was that I ended up going and giving her the quilt, and that changed my life, because I realized how many women there are, and more to come in the future, because of the situation and the impact of a lot of the current events are having on women. Not just domestic violence, because this particular woman I ended up talking and spending some time with, and she was a victim of domestic violence. Her husband was coming out of jail, and he had murdered somebody, and she was fearing for her life, and that's why she had taken off to another state. And I spoke to her, and then I saw her illuminate when I gave her the quilt, because the quilt had little crosses and stuff, but the illumination in her face, she knew it was a God thing, because when I started talking to her about how women were choosing this lifestyle of living in their vehicles, and it never dawned on her anything like that. And she just became another person. Her face actually illuminated, because it almost felt like I was giving her some sense of hope, a different way of looking at things. And I'll never forget that expression that she had. And she was so grateful for this quilt. This quilt was like her cozy home now. She could see it as her cozy home. She had this beautiful quilt that she was able to lay out and lay in, and this was like her little den, her little place, her little happy place that she can call her home. So after I had that incident with her, I reflected on all of these things, and I realized that God was calling me to something bigger, because when I went online to research local shelters, domestic violence, runaway, things like that, I realized that nobody is teaching these women how to live in a vehicle. And I was like, bingo, this is where we need to really help. And I talked to the caravan about that, and they get it. They just get it. And that was my mission, to revamp this entire website and to put out a series of videos where I actually show women how to live in a vehicle. And it doesn't have to be forever. It's at least during this transitional time where they're going through these problems, whatever they are, whether it could be domestic abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, and they're just fear for their life, or it's because they don't have any money and they have to cut back a lot. They can't live in an apartment. This is the way that we can touch the lives of other women and let them be nomadic women, not because they chose, just because God called them to this transitional life. And my place in this ministry is to help them. Is to help them feel a sense of empowerment and feel a sense of gratitude that they have a vehicle. This is a wonderful thing that God is doing in my life. So these videos that I am posting here on my channel is actually a playlist of all of the videos where I break down everything from beginning to the end. I break down everything from, you know, how to change your car, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You don't have to do an expensive build, and all of this stuff, and it's just wonderful. And then I have the wonderful help of the women that are doing the quilts. And I also invite you, if you are a retired quilt maker and you're making quilts and you just have them stacked somewhere and you don't need them, I invite you to donate your quilts or your quilt throws to us, or any excess fabric that you have that you're not using to make quilts anymore, or you know, quilt organization or a quilt store or whatever. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to give us your quilts, so that when we do have these kind of women who are moving into these vehicles, their cars, they have this quilt that they know that someone made for them and is making their little car a place, a little space, a little home, a little place that's cozy for themselves to live in during this time. And they know that somebody made it with love and prayed over this quilt. I'm hoping that you pray over the quilt, and that there's support, and there's something wonderful about something that's handmade and given with love. So I invite all of you to do that. In addition to that, if you're also a woman that makes and knits and does beautiful things, and you want to be able to contribute either a knitted throw or gloves or a hat, we're always looking for wonderful things like that we can give to these women who are living out on the road. And there's nothing like treating someone to something that is homemade. I wish you could have seen this woman take this quilt in her hand, because she knew the value of it. She knew it was homemade. She knows that our connection, hers and mine, was something that God was doing. So that was my whole journey through this, how something so small changed everything for me, and the way that I'm going to be able to help women and some of the other women that travel with me as well, because I will be able to show them the builds and what other women do with their vans, or women who camp in their cars, because we have women also that camp in their cars. So I will be able to show them all of this and give them a sense of empowerment, so that they can embrace this life with dignity and with hope that they have a future. And that's exactly what my story is about. It's a hope for the future. I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and for those of you that want to lend support and give money to this cause that God is helping me to raise and build up. I want to thank you so much for that. I know some of you have donated. I'm also looking to purchase land, and I had a wonderful idea from one of the girls in the caravan. She said, well, why don't we all kind of pitch in a little bit of money, and then all of us can join it? And then I said, bingo, that is a great idea, because this is an opportunity for women, and even women who live in their cars, to have a place where they can live, whether they work for $500 or $1,000, they can actually have a piece of land. So that's where my other mission is moving forward, is to be able to buy undeveloped land cheap, for cents on the dollar, and be able to have these women purchase with me, so that we can all be landowners on this property. And as the property gains value, or it gains value because we decide to improve it with water or electric or sewer or whatever it is, we also know that we're also putting an investment into our future, because if we decide to sell our share of that land, that another woman can come in and purchase it for, and the other woman can make a profit, because land always when you improve it, always increases in value. So this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us women to join hands and have something for ourselves and be able to grow and prosper, give hope to other women, and be able to pass it along to someone in the future as well if they need a piece of land as well. So I'm really excited about this journey that I'm on. So if you come across a woman when you're traveling that has hit rock bottom, that is houseless but not homeless because she's in a car, and you might want to steer her to this website where she can learn a lot of things and connect with us and become a part of the nomadic community, where we can help each other out and support each other and lift each other up as women. I thank you so much for watching, and together we can grow this nomadic community to be something wonderful under God. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.